Hello and welcome to the first installment of the Powder Blues podcast, where every Thursday we'll be bringing you pretty much the past week in Phillies baseball, where at the end of the week, bring you all the important news and bullet points from the past week. We were, Frank, you can go ahead and explain who we formerly were.
Yeah, so you guys might know us. We had another podcast called the Couch Coaches podcast. And we started doing that. We had a lot of fun doing that. But then as soon as we started recording episodes, a bunch of schoolwork got dropped on us and we couldn't do it. We had some episodes in the bag. There may be some lost episodes out there. I don't know. But yeah. So we kind of had to take a break from that for a few months. And then we started thinking like, well, I mean, AJ's a big Steelers fan, but I'm kind of just like a football fan. And then started thinking, well, AJ's a Penguins fan, but I just like watching hockey. I really like NASCAR, but AJ will watch it every once in a while. I watch the Sixers more than AJ does. There wasn't really one thing that like we both really had like the passion to like actually like make the podcast about. Then we're like, hey, we both really like the Phillies. We both really wanted them to sign JT again. we both really wanted them to do all that. So we figured, why not just turn into a Phillies podcast and get more Phillies podcasts out there?
Yep. There's definitely a need for more Phillies podcasts. I can't really think of many. I just know I know two, actually. The High Hopes pod with Jack Fritz, and then I think there's another one. I forget his name. I think it's Hunter Broads. He does like those YouTube videos immediately following games. I like his videos. They're pretty good. But there's a need for more out there, I guess. So I guess we thought we'd take a shot at it. But this week we will be doing something different. But go ahead, and Frank will explain that now.
Yeah. So for this week, to start off the podcast, we had an idea over the offseason that we were talking about moves that they should make for a while. So why don't we just make our own and like what we think should happen? So I made offseason moves that I thought the Phillies should have made, and I'm going to have AJ grade them. And we did put rules in place, mainly something that the MLB doesn't have. I had a money limit. I can only spend $250 million, which was included in trades, like monetary compensation in trades, because that happens in the MLB still. Free agents, I could sign as many free agents as I want, obviously staying under the $250 million budget. I had to make 3 trades. Just for simplicity's sake, we made it just like players in the majors. We, we figured it would get confusing if like we were like, yeah, you get the rights to this guy from Reading and he would be sent down to AAA if we get the rights to this guy in the next draft. So we just kept it strictly majors. Obviously, because this is kind of just like what we would see happen. This is what AJ is going to be grading my moves on, that for the trades, if they're reasonable, obviously, not all trades would actually happen, but if the trades were reasonable, they would be accepted. And then if the offer made to the free agent was realistic, that they would sign. That's what AJ will be grading me on as I go through my list of offseason moves. So are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So first we're going to start with my free agent signings. And obviously the first one, best catcher in baseball. We're bringing him back. We're signing JT to a 5-year, $110 million contract. That will be explained later.
So you're taking away the $5.5 million.
I had to use. Yeah, I had to use that to make a trade realistic.
Okay. See, I don't know if he would sign that because he wanted the.
Really? You don't?
No, because the only reason why he took that extra money is because he wanted the record for the annual value. And that's exactly why the number on his real contract is exactly the way it is. Because I believe it just beats the previous record.
Well, yes, I knew he wanted the record, but he said, didn't he also say, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he also say if he couldn't get record money, he would very much like to stay in Philly. It kind of like the money kind of mattered, but like it didn't have to be record. He just would have preferred the record.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We can continue on.
Yeah. What would you grade that?
B minus.
Okay.
I'll get specific.
Okay. All right. So this next, I really swung for the fences on this one. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. And, oh wait, there's more. Okay.
Folks, I can see this on my screen before he says it. So when you hear my reaction, get ready.
Yeah. So I really swung for the fences on this one. I think we should make a move for Trevor Bauer to help the pitching rotation. I gave him a 2-year, $75 million contract with an opt-out after the first year because that is how his Dodgers contract is laid out. So obviously knowing that knowledge, I'm sure he probably wanted some opt-outs. So, and he's not really been the one, I think he even said, I would never sign a multi-year contract, and then he signed one. So that's why I gave him the opt-out. This one was a stretch, I will admit, but there were some big name free agents out there, and
I don't think he would turn down the deal. I just think it's way too much money for the Phillies, realistically. Like in this, fake world that we're living in here in dreamland, there's no way the Phillies shell out this kind of money. It would be great. 2 years, $75 million. It's higher per year than what he's currently on in LA. I mean, he might take it. I don't know. Did he say that he wouldn't sign a multi-year?
I think like a few years ago, he joked that like with someone that if I ever signed a multi-year, like punch me in the face or something. Like I really feel like that was him. I could be wrong, but I really feel like that was him.
Maybe.
And to be fair, I don't really think I don't think I've ever really heard of him signing a multi-year deal before he signed to the Dodgers. Yeah. So that's like,
well, the year before this one, this is where he like broke out, due to certain potential substance reasons. But so in my mind, I thought he would want like a long contract because he wanted to capitalize on that 1 year in case maybe this year kind of falls back. Doesn't seem like that's the case so far. I haven't really kept up with him too much, but I haven't seen anything too negative out of his role in LA. But I do think if this was given to him based off of what you told me about him not liking long-term contracts, I think he would take this. But Phillies wise, you're kidding yourself if you think Middleton would ever write this kind of check.
Yeah. That's why, folks, this is also why I put the budget cap on it because, baseball doesn't have one. So, the Dodgers obviously have deeper pockets than the Phillies. So, we had to rein it in a little bit to make these work. Okay. So moving on.
I give that C plus. No. Because of what now this is going to sound harsh, actually. I give it a C because judging based off of what I gave JT, which is really not that bad, I give it a C.
Okay. That's respectable. This one was, I have two kind of long shots on this list. Like the entire thing, like the free agents and the trades. I have two long shots. Bauer's one, and then the trade is another one. Those were my two swinging for the fences. Okay. So let's move on. Brad Miller, 1 year, $2.5 million. I think that's what he got. I feel like that's a fair. I feel like that's a fair contract for his services. I'm sure we could give him an extension based on what he's playing his like production now, like
Mhm.
that we know now in the season. But at this time when I made this, I feel like it was a good move. I feel like it was
Mhm.
a good contract to give.
He is making 3.5 million this year, but
Mhm.
maybe he would get.
Again,
I don't know.
we had a budget cap. We had to make some cuts. And at the time when I made this, he wasn't producing like he is now.
Yeah, I give it a B plus. Low risk, high reward.
Mhm. Okay, shall we move on to the next one?
Yep.
DD. I gave him the same contract because I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. Personally, I don't know. I know he wanted 2 years, but if I'm the Phillies, I don't want to give him 2 years. I want one because next year the shortstop market will be huge. But now you're locked in with a shortstop already. So I don't know. I mean, he's been very, very good this year. He's been paying dividends, but next year, getting a shortstop next year could have been huge. But I still like it.
Do Do you think he would have signed a 1-year contract?
No, that's the problem.
So yeah, that's the issue. But yeah, I feel like what he was given, the 2 years, 28 million, I feel like that was a very fair. I feel like that was a very fitting contract for his services. So that's why I was like, you know what? That's the one we'll keep completely accurate. 2 years, 28 million.
What I would have done, maybe slightly differently, if he would have taken it, I would have tried to work on an opt out for the team after 1 year.
See, I don't think he would. I don't think he would have signed that then, because
Hard.
the opt outs for players and opt outs for teams, like the opt out on either side is like has so much power, and it's two so like very different reasonings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when Bryce came to Philly, he didn't want any opt outs. He said that. He said that straight up. I don't want any opt outs. I want to be here. I don't want anyone, I don't want to leave. I don't want you guys to make reasons for me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like players, when a team has the opt out, that's like they're not
Well, what if
confident in them at all.
well, what if both parties had the opt out after 1 year?
Then I could maybe see it. I think the only way he would do that is if either he just him alone had the opt out or they both had the opt out, not just the team opt out. I feel like that's the only way he would do it.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the opt out already, does he?
No, not that I'm aware. I feel like that would have been bigger news.
Yeah, maybe not. That would have been nice though. Anyways, go
Whoa,
ahead.
whoa.
What?
What do you mean?
What?
You don't like Didi as our shortstop? What is
I
this?
do, but the shortstop class next year is huge. You have Correa, Javi, Seager, and Story all becoming free agents.
At the time, yeah, Lindor was still there, but
Yeah. I'll give this A minus because
all right.
we needed Didi. Would have
Yeah.
been an A plus if there was an opt out for both sides after this year.
Jeez, AJ is a harsh GM. Okay, this one I really like. We need some relief in the bullpen. So I would sign relief pitcher Liam Hendricks to a 3-year, $25 million contract
I like
to
that
come.
a lot.
Yeah.
I would like that a lot because I
Mhm.
don't like Hector Neris as closer at all.
Mhm.
I think this team, Phillies, they need a true elite closer. Hendricks, if they would have gotten him, that would have been a great addition. But they didn't.
Mhm.
They definitely didn't have the money for that. But
Yeah.
would have been nice in theory.
Yeah. Do you think Hendricks would have been the closer? Or do you think it would have been a reliever?
100% closer.
Yeah, this was the one I was like, I think we really need this one. Like, and I think the money's fair. I mean,
How much is his current contract?
I had him signing for 25.
That would not have brought him in, I don't think.
No, no. Okay, again, everyone. Yes, he signed a $54 million contract with the White Sox. Real world doesn't have a salary cap. In this world where there is a salary cap, do you think he would have signed this? Because I
No.
don't think the White Sox would have given him a $54 million contract if there was a salary cap.
We're going by
You don't think he would have signed?
team. We're just going by team budget, right? It's not league wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's the most realistic offer that the Phillies could have offered in this scenario where they only have $250 million.
In theory, it's amazing, but
Mhm.
there's no way he would have signed that kind of money or that kind of deal with so little money. I think maybe a 1-year deal for 11 million. That would be sweet. Or maybe 2 years, 24 million.
Mhm.
But 3 years, 25 million. That's pushing it.
I was going back and forth between 2 and 3 years. I felt like relief is kind of like a long-term thing.
Mhm.
So I landed on the 3. But yeah, the money with 3, looking at it now, more goes with 2.
Yeah.
But
Both good though.
yeah. So what do you give this one?
It's gonna be harsh. D.
Okay. D.
Just because of the year.
Whoa.
Now, if
Okay.
it was 2 years, 25 million, then A.
Oh man. Wow.
Huge difference because the way it's sitting now, he wouldn't take it. 2 years, he might take that
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
because it would be higher than what he's currently making per year,
Mhm. Yeah.
and he would be a great fit. So
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'll take that one. It's not gonna. I'll take that one. It's not the first D I've ever gotten, and probably won't be the last. So, overall, my free agent signings as the Phillies GM with a $250 million budget. What do you think? Overall grade.
B.
Which one? So, out of the players, DD obviously signed, JT signed, Brad Miller signed. Of the other two, Bauer and Hendricks, who do you think would most likely, obviously hypothetically, would sign?
Hendricks. Like if we gave them the contracts, or
Hendricks?
like, are you asking the possibility of all of it happening, or the possibility of them signing that kind of contract?
Like between the two, let's take the contracts out of it. Between the two, who do you think would most likely come to Philly?
Hendricks.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but I feel like there was something there, maybe a connection or something at some point, because I think the Phillies might have been interested. I don't know.
Mhm.
If I was the Phillies, I'd be interested. But
Yeah.
Bauer, it would be nice in theory, but we don't have the money for that.
Yeah.
Especially
him coming off of Cy Young and
imagine replacing Matt Moore with Trevor Bauer. That would have been beautiful.
Can you imagine that rotation?
Nola, Wheeler, Eflin, Bauer, and then Anderson. But it's okay to have Anderson down there. That's fine. But that would have been great.
That would have been
3 aces, 3.5. I count Eflin as a half.
Yeah,
he has the right stuff, and he has the right stuff and the right command, but he can't put it together for a whole season.
Yeah, basically the only real like ace that people talk about, like who's starting on opening day, but in theory, 3 days you have 3 aces pitching.
In my opinion, Wheeler is more of an ace than Nola is this year.
Okay, that's for another.
That's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different episode. But all right. Shall we move on to the trades?
Sure.
Okay, so for the trades, 1, you're grading me 1, and 2, you have to say if it's realistic, because the trade won't work if it's not.
Sounds good.
Reasonable. For this first trade, AJ, we had a conversation the other day about players.
Okay.
Who did I tell you was my favorite non-Philly?
Don't tell me. Hold on.
See, folks, it's funny because the conversation happened yesterday.
It did happen yesterday. Just forget. Oh, wait. Trevor Bauer.
No.
You said he was. No, he was 2. So who was
There's
1?
there's a player before him.
Oh, crap. What team do they play for?
Same team as Bauer plays on now.
Oh, Bellinger.
Yeah.
No way this happens if he's included in this.
So the way my trades go are from most unrealistic to most realistic. So 3, 2, 1, unrealistic, could happen, probably would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, I'm a really aggressive GM. I was swamped for fences. So sees just him. Okay, just him. Nothing else. Just him.
Just him. Okay.
Okay. The Dodgers would get. Okay, so it's okay. It's Philadelphia receives Cody Bellinger because we're
Mhm.
kind of just laughing. We never really said it. Outfielder Cody Bellinger. The reason is he would completely fill the gap and more in center field.
Can he play center field?
I think that's what he is technically.
Really?
He just plays like anywhere in the outfield, but I think technically he's listed as center field. And he can hit. Can you imagine that lineup though?
That would be amazing.
So the Dodgers would get.
There's okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's no way on God's green earth the Dodgers would ever want to get rid of him, though.
I know, but that's not what the rule was.
Fair enough.
It didn't. He could be playing for the Iron Pigs, and the Iron Pigs could still not give him up, but that doesn't really matter. It doesn't. Realistic, like reasonable, like they would. What's reasonable? That if you think the trade would be listened to, and like it would, obviously it wouldn't happen. Cody Bellinger is way too valuable to the Dodgers and like would be way too valuable to any other team that he would never get traded. But just like if that wasn't the case.
Okay.
So Dodgers would receive Kutch,
Okay.
Knapp, a first round pick, because in this world picks matter because we're not doing anything with the lower, like we're not doing any like minor league stuff. So like we're assuming that first round picks like automatically play just like in any other sport.
Mm-hmm.
First round pick, and then that's where the other $5 million was. He would get cash. The Dodgers would get cash compensation.
I have bad news for you. You can't trade picks in the MLB.
What?
Yeah. Even if you could here, it would take a king's ransom to get him. Like I'm talking.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking Nola. They wouldn't need Nola, but I'm just trying to give you like the type of stuff they would
the
want.
level of play. Yeah.
Like no. Let me take a step back. They would want Bohm. They would want Stott, a good prospect. Maybe Nick Abel. Oh no.
No, remember to keep the confusion out. We're not doing. We're only doing MLB players.
Okay.
So who would they have wanted? Bohm.
Yeah, they would want someone young, although Bellinger is young. And maybe someone like Nola or Wheeler. Although
They definitely
already
want
have
cash.
a million pitchers. Maybe JT.
They would definitely want cash.
Sure, why not?
Especially $5 million.
The rich get richer.
Again, folks. Okay, I didn't know about the trade thing. I didn't know about the picks thing because literally every other sport that has a CBA, you can trade picks. So I just assumed that the MLB you could, but I guess you can't. This trade was more just for me.
Okay.
because if the Phillies didn't exist, like Cody Bellinger's my guy. So, this one was for me. I just wanted to see what you would say. This is probably like a D. It would never be realistic. But what do you say?
0.
What 0 what?
Like you're asking me for a grade, right?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. So F. What would make it better?
It not happening.
Wow. But I can't say I'm surprised by the reaction. So, I'm just gonna move on.
In theory, it's nice. To make this trade actually realistic, what I would do is I would switch it around a little bit. Now, instead of the Dodgers, in order to get your center fielder, you trade with the Rangers for Joey Gallo because they've always been involved with him. And Phillies fans want him. And so that would make it realistic. But then you take away Kutch, Knapp, and the pick, and you replace it with, I know we aren't doing minor leaguers, but like a prospect or two.
Mm-hmm.
And they would take that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Gallo's
take away
really
the cash too, or we would have to send them.
No, you'd have to send them cash.
So again, like I said, this was my trade for me, and like the one that probably wouldn't happen. I knew AJ's reaction was going to be this, just because of what I told him that Cody Bellinger was my favorite non-Philly. So I totally expected this. Totally expected it. The other ones I will be shocked if he gives me a low grade though, because I feel like they're actually reasonable.
Okay. Let's see. I'm thrilled. I'm on the edge of my seat.
My second trade, the Phillies would receive Lucas Giolito from the White Sox.
I like that.
Through the no-hitter last year. So the White Sox would receive Chase Anderson and Jojo Romero.
I don't think they would take that. Now, assuming that it's the offseason, I think they would like Romero. If we're talking right now, they would laugh in our face. But judging based off of last season, Romero, he was looking like he could turn out to be something good. Now, I think they would be interested. Now, this, again, it's last offseason. We're in the winter. So we haven't seen Jojo Romero blow up this season. So they would like Jojo. And then throw in cash, remove, I don't know, maybe remove Anderson and throw.
What if I put in Neris?
No.
Oh, now he wants to keep Neris.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Neris as a pitcher or closer, but I think he would be a decent reliever.
Yeah.
Earlier on. So, I mean, he's one of our better bullpen guys, I guess. So he's not really someone you want to separate with right now. But I think Jojo Romero, cash. I don't know, maybe someone else minor that you can tackle on. However, what I would have done differently is I would have traded for a starting pitcher. Only it wouldn't be Giolito. It would be Joe Musgrove. Because I wanted him not last summer, but the winter prior. I always thought the Pirates are an easy team to trade with right now because it's not like you need to send someone who's good back because it's not like they want someone who's good right now. They want prospects and things for the future. And, but I think Musgrove would have been a good guy to trade for.
All right, what do you give this one?
But for Giolito, maybe Romero, someone else minor or like a minor leaguer, like a prospect guy or something, someone young, and then cash. But judging based off of this, I would give it C+. It's realistic. The value's there on our end. Wait, did you give them cash?
I ran out of cash.
So I think you would also, you ran out of cash. So I think all I would do differently to get Giolito is Jojo, he looks good on paper at this point. I think. I don't even know what his numbers were last year, but I know he had a lot of hype around him. So Jojo, Chase Anderson, that's fine. So yeah, Chase Anderson, Jojo, and then cash.
So again, this one was the middle of the road. Like could happen, probably not, but could happen. This one I think would actually work. Philly receives Joey Wendell and cash from the Rays. Even though we got Segura, I feel like he's a really good really good backup second baseman, maybe pinch hitter. Obviously, what we saw, what he did in the playoffs last year for the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of we spent a lot of money, so we needed a little bit of cash. And then I would send them Kingery.
Would they take that? Maybe.
I feel like they I feel like they would.
Yeah.
If anything, they'd definitely listen.
Yeah, they would listen. Maybe a tad more on our end. But I don't know. Scott Kingery, he's become a mess. But maybe a team thinks that they can solve that mess.
And again, this is the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know he's a mess yet.
True. I give this a B+ because it's very minor, realistic, understandable. Could be a good bench bat.
So those are my trades. Overall, what do you give? Oh, okay. Should I really even ask? But what do you give my trades overall?
Your trades. A C. C-, just because of the Bellinger thing.
Mhm.
The Bellinger thing kind of tipped the scales.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, he didn't see any of this.
Yeah, this is my first initial reaction. The 3 people I would have went for in trades would be, as I said, Musgrove,
Mhm.
drawing a blank, Joey Gallo, and I would have scrapped the Didi Gregorius signing, and I would have traded for Trevor Story, because
Really?
the Rockies, they want to they don't want to get rid of him, but they're selling. We saw how much Arenado, how cheap he was. Well, how cheap he was compared to what we thought his value was and asking price was. I feel like Story would have been hard to get, but a possible get nonetheless.
You're really gambling on that one, though.
Well, you would
Because
have to.
You're not because no. The only reason I say you're gambling. The only reason I say you're gambling is because you're not even signing Didi. So if the Story trade doesn't work out, we don't have a shortstop.
My thing is, though, we signed Didi late. Like, Didi was there until like close to the end of the winter. So I think you try out trading for Story, and if it doesn't work out, Didi's there at the very end just to fall back on. But getting Story, that's a game changer. And then Gallo, and then Musgrove.
Yep.
You in all 3 of those trades, you've brought in a superstar. You've added a good starting pitcher who could be a great guy under Eflin, Nola, and Wheeler. You have a 4th guy, so then you have Chase Anderson sitting pretty at 5.
Mhm.
And you fix your center field problems with Gallo. So you have no gaps in the team aside from the bullpen, which you can fix with free agency by getting like Hendricks and people like that.
I think, and at the time when I made this, I was kind of going off like stats and stuff and like other contracts. So what, if the Rockies were willing, because I think the Rockies are really willing to like trade him, I feel like it's gonna happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
Then I probably would have done that one. Again, Bellinger was for me, so but Gallo would have been a good trade, and then Musgrove, yeah, Musgrove. I kind like Giolito kind of seemed like a good one to come in and
both of them, really.
Yeah, both of them.
And also keep in mind, folks, this doesn't include like the more minor signings and trades, like say like the trade for Sam Coonrod or I don't know, signing like minor bullpen guys. This doesn't really include that. These are just like the big moves that kind of stand out.
The big moves that would like change the team.
Yes.
Like, not okay. Bryce Harper is like a completely different level, but
Yeah.
like, you know,
I think Story would be up there though. So
yeah, but these were the signings and the trades that would have a major impact on the team.
so I guess does that pretty much do it?
Yeah.
Well, folks, I think we've reached the end of our first episode, which again, it will be different than all of the following episodes where we will,
Except for a few. Wink, wink.
yep, except for a few sprinkled in. It'll be different than our usual where we kind of just pretty much go over what's actually going on. Thank you for tuning in. Head to our social media pages. It's Powder Blues Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and then on Twitter it is at Powder Blues Pod. And send us some messages that we can react to and kind of respond to while recording. And we can kind of review some of the messages. But yeah, that just about does it. The link for those messages will be in our social media page bios. And it's been fun. Thank you for tuning in. We are the Powder Blues Podcast.